Hey everyone, welcome to a new video. I figured I'd make this video. I wanted to make this video for a long time now. I just never got around to it. But around the same time that I made 5,000 total designs, or my 5,000th design, is around the same time that I clocked in about $20,000 from Redbubble. Now, I want to go ahead and talk about how this was all done. More importantly, what I learned. And I think if you guys can take away what I learned, it's almost like you're getting a shortcut. And so I'll just share that information. Now, I did want to make this video much earlier, just couldn't get around to it. We're well past this now, this $20,000 number and 5,000 designs. We're talking way past this, but I figured I'd just share it anyway. So I do have some slides that I do want to share, but with that being said, try to pay attention to what I'm going to say, and if you guys have had the same experiences, totally feel free to weigh in. And I'll also share some mistakes that I made along the way also. I'm not going to just talk about things I did right, but in the beginning, the first thing that I didn't do, and I kind of regret this, is I didn't have a refined system. I didn't have a strategy. I didn't have like a guide. I didn't have any kind of thing, and that's, I feel like, what majority of people do when it comes to uploading. I mean, I can only assume because that's what I did as a beginner, but I really didn't have any processes behind what I was doing. I just had an idea to create something, and then I just went ahead and created it and hoped that it sold. I added the tags, I added the titles. I didn't really know much about it. I used a free tag generator, which did not help. It actually hurt so much, and I actually regret using it. And I had to actually go back in time and change all the tags for certain designs because I actually understand how to tag at that point, or I didn't understand, and I actually had to go back and fix it all. But there were a lot of mistakes, a lot of mistakes along the way, a lot of failures along the way, that had I not done those things, I would have been, easily quadruple the results during that period of time. With that being said, the titling and tagging is part of my refined system. Right, I had to figure out how I can create my own kind of system when it came down to Redbubble specifically. And something that I learned is very obscure to me at first, and I couldn't really understand why. But every site is different. A lot of people try to take merch by Amazon and compare it to Redbubble. A lot of people try to take Zazzle and compare it to Redbubble. A lot of people try to take TeePublic even, compare it to Redbubble. It doesn't work that way. I'm just speaking from reality. I'm speaking from being in the trenches myself and doing it. Of course, there are going to be some similarities that pile over, but they're going to be drastically different. You could be wildly successful on merch by Amazon and not have any success whatsoever on Redbubble or on Zazzle. It's just completely different. And I'm speaking from somebody who had a merch by Amazon account. I'm not speaking, from, commentating. I'm speaking from the stadium. Like I've been in the race in all aspects of print on demand. So whether it be building your own website or Redbubble or merch by Amazon, I've been through every single course of action. With that being said, creating a system is wildly important, and I did not value it at first. I didn't really truly understand, but something that I realized is the greats in all businesses come up with a system. They come up with a game plan. Now, for me, you guys know I've shared that game plan through the courses. I've shared it through the courses, whether it be the tagging course. I shared everything I know about tagging and how you find tags, how you can create tags, how what kind of tags specifically to look for what kind of position you want to be in, whether you're trying to rank on Redbubble or whether you're trying to show up in the similar section for similar art pieces that have already been selling and try to piggyback off that. There's a lot of different things. In terms of titling, I also created different strategies and different ideals when it comes to tagging, and I figured that like every single part of the Redbubble listing, we're talking about the title, the product, the description, every single aspect to it, there's value in it. Every single aspect, and it's just a matter of picking up on it and figuring out a strategy behind it. So I'm not going to harp too long on that, but creating a refined strategy. Once again, if you want to learn about that, what I did was I tied my titling and tagging into my uploading. At first, I thought they were kind of different. At first, I treated them different. I treated the tagging with the utmost focus in the beginning. And I thought, if I could just figure out how to tag properly, then all my answers will be solved. And that's not true. You need to have everything that comes into play, because it really does multiply your success later down the road. With uploading, I had to get efficient. I was taking way too long in the beginning, and I realized that it is possible that I could do more. And I figured out a strategy. For those who know, who are in the POD design course, I've shared that strategy on not only how to design quickly, but how to do it without doing niche research. And all that did come into play, and I'll share why in just a minute. But I'm happy that I did take the long route at first, because when I took the long route, I did not use really too many other print-on-demand sites at the time when I was first learning my system or refining my system. What I'm talking about is, and this could be generally a mistake, is I did not join other platforms. And when I say join, I didn't really join all my energy into them. Now, of course, I did upload for fun here and there on other platforms while I was doing Redbubble, but it wasn't something that I was committed to. And honestly, this might seem like a mistake, but it, as bad as it was, it came with its benefits, and I'll explain why. When I decided to put all my focus into Redbubble for a given period of time, it allowed me to really focus and figure out what I was doing wrong and how I can improve. And a lot of people might say, yes, it's good to diversify, don't do just Redbubble, and I agree, I completely agree. But for me, in the time that I was in, I needed to figure out how to do one thing right. And in that case, that one thing for me was Redbubble during the time. And I had to figure out, what I was doing wrong, because I wanted to get to the point where not only was I making daily sales, but I wanted to make multiple sales a day. And I'm at that point now very, very easily, and I've been at that point for a very long time. But, with that being said, I wouldn't have got to that point had I not focused only on Redbubble. So I got into the position where, it was a double-edged sword. I was doing good and I was doing bad at the same time by not uploading to other platforms. When I decided to finally start uploading to other platforms, I realized my mistake is that I didn't use upload automators, and this is kind of my issue. Had I used upload automators in the beginning, I would have been able to post on multiple platforms at once, at least the closest platforms. And for me, what I would deem the closest platforms, we're looking at Teespring, TeePublic, Spreadshirt, as well as Redbubble, okay? I wouldn't consider Zazzle a part of that group. Zazzle is a little bit different for reasons that I'm not going to talk about right now, because this video would just be way too long. But I do regret I don't regret it. I do realize that I did make a mistake, though. And that was kind of my mistake. But once again, like I said, out of every, door that closes, another door opens. And I did learn during that period of time how to truly master Redbubble in my own kind of way, with my own processes, of course. Of course, you ask somebody else, they're going to have their own ideas and their own strategies and things like that. Do I regret it? No, I don't regret it, like I said, because I came with that benefit of me truly learning Redbubble. Now, something that I would change, and I would have done the 60 designs per day earlier. If I was able to go back to my old self and say, hey, this is where you're going wrong, I would have gained much more clarity, and I would have gained much more results faster had I designed 60 designs per day. Now, I want to be clear on why that is. It's not because of the sheer number of designs. That's really not why, because the reality is majority of people create many designs that are never going to sell anyway. That's not the reason why. For me, it's not about the number of designs, but it's about learning what's behind those designs. When I say what's behind them, I'm talking about the skills behind them, the tags, the titling. I would have nailed down tagging and titling much faster had I started earlier creating 60 designs per day. And I'm talking about maybe 3 months earlier. I would have started to master it faster. It took me much longer than it had to be for me to learn titling and tagging to its maximum level. Had I just focused on and truly the skills behind it, I was trying to overcomplicate the process at the time, but then other times I was simplifying the process. It was really the blind leading the blind. I was leading myself. I had really no direction, no true knowledge at that point. And had I hopped on creating 60 designs per day and really exerted myself in the very beginning of my journey, I would say I would have been I would have learned much faster. But what I do currently do, guys, is I do currently stick to 60 designs per day, which equates to 1,800 designs per month. And I noticed that the sales started to soar. not because of the quantity, like I said, not because of the quantity of designs, but because of the experience level. My experience level, for example, if I at first used to create 20 designs per day and I jumped up all of a sudden to 60, I was doing 3 days worth of work in one day. And for a week of time, I was doing 21 days worth of work in a week's time. And I wouldn't really work on the weekends back then. And so that really, during a period of a week, I could create over a month's worth of work. And so for me, it was much, much better to just focus on 60 designs per day, and that's something I'm sticking to. Now, since I'm doing better, I did contemplate on giving that up. I contemplated on kicking it to the curb and just relaxing, but I did make myself a promise, and so I have to stick to it. And I also made you guys the promise. I said it publicly that I will do 10 stores, 1,800 designs per month, or 60 designs per day, whatever the month permits. For example, February, we're doing a little less than 1,800 because there's 28 days in the month, and there's not 30. But there are some months where there's more than 30 days, so that really doesn't really matter. But the point is that I am sticking to 60 designs per day. I'm not going to give that up until the last day of this year. And I'm going to keep going every day. There's no days off. If I want to take a vacation, it won't be this year, put it that way. That was something that, like I said, I would have done earlier. Now, as of November of last year is when I really started doing the 60 designs per day, and I started really focusing on that. Now, what I will say is that the 5,000 designs, I closed off on those 5,000 designs relatively early into the 60-day period. That's why it was only a few days in. But like I said, I would have, if it was up to me, the gap between when I started doing the 60 designs per day and the gap to where I wanted to start focusing on Redbubble, where I wasn't taking it seriously in the middle, which could have been like 8 months period of time, maybe even more. If I had started way before those 8 months, the 60 designs per day, like I said, I would have quadrupled what I have in terms of success now. It would be way past quadruple the numbers that you see here in terms of income and in terms of designs. But I didn't. I didn't do that. And do I regret it? Like I said, no. I actually I do regret it. What I don't regret is that I didn't focus on other platforms at once. I know this video was kind of like all over the place. Something that I will say is that, guys, the biggest problem that leads you to lack of success is focusing on the success. And I know that sounds so crazy and so upside down, but let me explain what I'm talking about. When we are concerned with the money that we make, and every single day we focus on the money, we'll never have the time to actually focus on the work. And so when we focus on the results and we want some results right here, right now, we'll never have the results because that's all we're focused on. And the only way to get results is to focus on the actual work. And that's where, like I said, that gap of 8 months before 8 months where I didn't take Redbubble seriously or anything like that. Had I took it seriously way before even 2021 started, I could have been a different ball game. Now, with that being said, I'm making up now for the I guess you could say for the mistakes I did before. And that's why I'm saying to myself, just because I'm doing good on Redbubble now doesn't mean I can step off the gas. I have to basically teach myself a lesson, punish myself a little bit for the lackadaisical behavior that I experienced before. And I'm not giving up. I'm doing 60 designs per day every single day, no matter what the day is, no matter how tired I am, no matter what the schedule is like, no matter what's going on, it has to be done. And I actually have a little setup on how I do that. Before I used to design the 60 designs per day, but now I don't do that. I sit down for a week, and I'll create as many designs as possible. And honestly, by the end of that week, if you guys know anything about me, it doesn't take long for me to design. I've showed that in the POD design course. Takes like a half hour to get a good amount done. I will sit down for like 7 hours straight, and I'll get as many designs done as possible. And sometimes it will, because of the way that I am designing, I could have up to 1,000 designs in that 7 hour period, sometimes even more. And so what I'll do is, including on that big day where I'm doing the designing, I do upload the 60 designs. And then for the rest of the time that I'm uploading the 60 designs, it's a little bit easier because I don't have to now worry about designing. And I already have the designs created for me. Like I said, something that I have been incorporating now is that I'm uploading onto multiple platforms at once because of the automator tools. For those who don't know, I'm using POD Connect. You guys can check it out. I will leave an affiliate link if you want. I actually won't leave an affiliate link because I haven't started using it publicly. I have been using it behind the scenes, but I haven't shown you guys how I'm using it, is what I'm trying to say. So I won't even leave the affiliate link. Forget that. If you guys want to join it, just go ahead and use my discount code, autopilotpassiveincome.com. You guys can see here, I use it every day. I have it on my computer. I have it right here. But like I said, I won't show that now. If I decide to use that in front of you guys, I will talk about that in the future if you want to happen to see those videos. If you don't want to happen to see those videos, it's perfectly fine too. Doesn't really matter. But yeah, that's what I've been doing recently. Is I've been creating, and when I say recently, I'm talking about maybe the past 40 days. I mean, nothing crazy. Where I've been automating, uploading to multiple platforms at once, and just really experimenting now. Before, I wanted to really solidify my skills in the platform. I really wanted to get good at what I was doing, and I felt like I had wasted a large period of time. I've told you guys about this before, but when I first started, I was jaded. I got lucky the first 2 months. That I guess that Q4 luck. I mean, that's really what it was. When you guys know, when in Q4 you get the most sales you ever get throughout the whole entire year. Q4 is like when everything goes crazy, and that's for merch, that's for Redbubble, that's really for every platform almost. And so for me, I got lazy. Like, I got lazy for a very long period of time. I'm talking about like roughly 8 months. And so during those 8 months, had I started, after my first or second month of doing, print on demand on Redbubble, had I started focusing, had I started creating a system, had I started uploading 60 designs per day, had I really taken it seriously, I could have, like I said, quadrupled the numbers of, the 5,000, 20,000. But thankfully now I'm way past this anyway. Right now, way past the 5,000 designs, way past 20K in income. And I'm not talking about sales. This is profit, by the way. I'm not talking about sales. So, for example, if I sell a duvet cover for $129 and I take home 50, let's just use that as an example. I'm not saying that those are my numbers, but let's just say that is. I'm talking about the $50 in profit. I'm not talking about the $129. So let's just be clear about that right away. But at the end of the way I look at it and the way I stay so consistent with Redbubble is I look at this. I go over here and I go to Redbubble and I hit one button. I hit the search button. Well, I don't type anything, by the way. I just hit the search button. And every day I look at this number. And this number is going up every single day, guys. It's at 34,895,284. In a few minutes, it's going to go up again. And a few minutes after that, it's going to go up again. By tomorrow, it's going to go up even more. Everybody's competing with me. I look at it that way. And the more designs I create, the more work I put in, the more results I'm going to get. If I sit back and don't do anything, I'm going to essentially be swamped in an ocean of competition. And for me, I made the promise to myself, like I said, that I'm going to stick to 60 designs per day, every day for the whole entire year, regardless of what results I get. Whether I get $0 or whether I get $1 million, a gajillion dollars, quadrillion dollars, whatever, I'm sticking to it no matter what. And so that's what I'm going to do. And I only make videos on things that occupy my mind. So if I'm busy on Zazzle, I'll talk about Zazzle. If I'm busy on Redbubble, I'll talk about Redbubble. Now, you guys have probably seen the Etsy videos, the Zazzle videos, I've mentioned Pinterest a lot. The reason why I'm mentioning these things is because I'm doing them behind the scenes. And of course, there's no way I could humanly record all of that type of stuff. I mean, I just can't. There's a lot of things that I do throughout the day that I don't want to do, like actual business stuff, like you guys know, the virtual assistants, the dealing with the websites, the niche sites. I'm doing all that kind of stuff in the back end, but for me, this print-on-demand stuff has become a hobby for me, a pastime, a relaxation, if you will, almost like a vacation from my normal day-to-day work. and I really enjoy it, to be 100% honest with you guys. I've been needing something to just get me out of my head a little bit, to de-stress, and to just something that I can, just turn up the music and just work a little bit while the music is playing in the background, and not really, be too hard on myself, to be 100% honest with you guys. And, print on demand has kind of done that for me. I'm not saying that it's going to do it for me all the time, but for now, in where my life is currently, that's what it does for me. And at the end of the day, whether I make money from it, that's just a bonus. And it's not even about the money at this point. It's just about the mental for me. Like I said, I need stuff that literally take me off to like a vacation mentally. So, I'm not trying to be a whiny little baby, but, I've been through a lot, and I'm going through a lot, and at the end of the day, it's all about staying focused. And for me, the print on demand, even though I do put myself on a schedule, like it's not, games for me, I still look at it like a hobby, and it's become a grounder for me, a foundational grounder. And what I mean by grounder is that typically we tend to as humans, we create routines to keep us staying focused on the right path in life. And let's just say this: I don't want to get too crazy, but I don't want to get off into the deep end doing things that I shouldn't be doing, or paying attention to things I shouldn't be paying attention to. I want to stay focused in what I'm doing now. And for me, that's, my main business, which is doing the SEO through the niche sites, through acquiring income, through building blogs and things like that. And that's my, my big kahuna. And the thing that like I said, the thing that I use to de-stress, the thing that I use to relax, just, relax, enjoy the night on, is print on demand. And like I said, it's not something that's too crazy of a project, but it's something I enjoy doing, and I think you guys feel the same way. I don't think it has to be a full-time income for anybody. I think we're just enjoying our time. Now, could it be for a lot of people? Of course it can. I mean, anybody can turn it into a full-time income. It's just a matter of consistency and time and effort. But other than that, I mean, I feel like these are the biggest walkaways that I would walk away with when I hit this certain stride to where I was at that time. When I hit the 5,000 designs total was around, like I said, around the same time I hit around 20,000 US. But it didn't start that way, and it wasn't a perfect chart. And when I say perfect chart, I wish I could draw it here. Maybe I could pull up a whiteboard. Let's just give me a second, guys. Let's go to here and pull up a whiteboard, and let me explain what I mean when I say this. Any day now. All right, here we go. So it wasn't like this. It wasn't like the chart was like this, where, when I hit, when I hit $1,000, I hit X amount of designs. It wasn't like that. It was really like this. Like, it was like this, and then it shot up. Because at this point in time, I took time to figure things out. And there was a frustration period, but with anything, like, you can't let things take you down. You gotta win in life, and you gotta push past. I mean, if I had kids, that's what I would say to them. I would say, even if things are tough, even if things are difficult, you gotta keep pushing past. And I feel like, obviously, I mean, I don't have kids, but I'm just saying, it's the things that I tell myself. And I would, I tell myself the same thing I tell you guys, the same thing I would tell my family members, same thing I tell everybody. And of course it's going to get tough, but if I quit, then really what's the point? And obviously there is a point of inflection here. Like, there's a point where things change and things move forward, but it wasn't perfect like this, guys. It wasn't like, it wasn't for me, at least for me. There are other people who are wildly successful. That wasn't me. I didn't start wildly successful. I wasn't one of those guys that had the mentorship and had the, the books and the, that wasn't me, unfortunately. Now, if I had wisened up, if I was smarter, if I was just a more conscientious individual, I would have done things the right way, but I didn't. I did things the hard way, and I messed up. I messed up because I did good my first 2 months, and I looked at it like as if that I deserved almost success, and I got lazy, and I left it I left it to where it was, and I didn't really care anymore. And I thought that I would, and I almost expected, based on my behavior, to keep receiving success when I didn't deserve it. And that's why my sales went all the way down. And then through those period, like I said, it was about 8 months. 8 months where I was really wasting away my opportunities, wasting away everything that I had been given, wasting away everything. During that wasting away time, guys, is when I really felt guilty, and I wanted to get back in the game. And that's where I went into monk mode, and I talked about that before. But I think that's all I got to say for this video. If you guys are looking to get to this milestone of 20,000, by no means is it big. It's not a big milestone whatsoever. There are people that do this on Redbubble on a monthly basis, so let's not even go there in terms of big, because this is not big. And I'm way past this now, but I just figured I'd share with you guys, if you want to get to this milestone as fast as possible, focus on this. Focus on creating a system, titling, tagging, efficiently uploading. I would say focus as much as you can only on Redbubble for now, if that's something you're focused on, if you're a beginner. And I would say do as many designs as possible. Obviously, it's not going to be 60 for everybody. Some people might do 30, people might do 10, people might do 50. But I would just say do more than what you originally started doing. So if you're doing 2 now, do 5, do 4. Do whatever you can to push yourself forward. And at the end of the day, you're not going to regret it. You're going to give yourself a pat on the back. You're going to enjoy yourself, and you're going to say, "Listen, I did good because I pushed myself." And if you guys at the end of the day need some guidance on either tagging and titling or creating designs, even check out the 2 courses. I'll leave them in the comments down below. And yeah, guys, this is just my experience. All right, I'll talk to you later. Peace out. Bye.